What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trev2323. I'm here with the Growatt inverter again, and I have the booklet with me right now because I gotta change a setting. I haven't really have been working so much overtime. I haven't really had time to go over everything to use it so I can figure out the settings for myself. So I still have to use the book. This is the daily BMS. I have it on, and right now the Growatt inverter is off. It is off. It is not on. It is off, in the off position, although it is plugged into the grid because I was charging the battery. And here's the battery here for LG 48 volt Chem pack, and there's a daily BMS right there. Okay, it's got the Bluetooth on it. So I watch and monitor the Bluetooth, and you see the battery is only at 87%. See, the battery is at 87%, and there's a 2.7 amp, and with a 55, the battery's at 55 volts right now. There's a 1.9 to 1.6 amp current. Okay, but you would think it would be going into the battery to charge it, seeing that the battery is only 87% and this is off. But I had it set to use the battery first so I could put the TV on and we could see how long this battery is going to go. Okay, so right now with a 87% battery, if I unplug it from the grid and wait about 30 seconds and then plug it back in, this full charge will change to constant charge, and this will go up to 99%. Okay, but I have this set on battery first, as I believe it is. Let me see which one it is. Utility first. Solar energy provide power. SBU solar energy provides power first. All those battery charge. It's on SBU, I believe. It's on SBU because the solar power is not here. It's not hooked up to the solar power. So I wanted to use the battery so we could power the TV to see how long this battery will last on the TV. But now with this off, the Growatt is off. With the Growatt off, and seeing that I have it on the battery first, even though it is plugged into the grid, shut off, it is going between 1.6 to 2.7 amps. 1.6 to 2.7 amps just to have the Growatt on. And it's not even on, just to have it plugged into the grid. Now if I go down here and turn it on, this is how you turn it on right here. Now the Growatt is on. Okay, so now the Growatt is on. And let's see what we got here with the Growatt on. I can't even see it, so I don't got my glasses on. The grid is plugged into the Growatt right now, but it's not charging the battery. Oh, it just started charging the battery right now. It just started charging the battery right now. So the battery is going the opposite way, and it is putting 3 amps into the battery right now. 3.2 amps into the battery to charge the battery. 4 amps. So it's going up. Okay, so what I have to change on this is I have to change... if I go on this right here, I have to change one. One is on SBU, solar energy first priority, solar energy sufficient power, battery energy will supply the power. So no, I have to go to, this is one, I have to go to utility. Utility will provide the first priority. So I have to go up. No, that's not what I gotta do. Okay, this is on here, and then I hit it again, and then it's SBU, solar, utility. It's using the grid first now. Alright. So now it will stop draining the battery. I had it on the SBU first because I wanted this battery, so I plugged in the TV, and it was going for like an hour. And the power on the battery only went down by like 1 or 2%. See, 13 amps are charging the battery right now. 13 amps. This will go up to 56 volts, then it'll stop. So it's balancing the battery. There's all the cells right here. But I was just wondering, with it plugged into the grid and this on battery, this was actually draining the battery overnight. Just with this, it wasn't even on. The Growatt was not on at all. The Growatt was off. But with the Growatt off, it still lights up the displays and this still blinks and everything. So it's still using power, and it was like 1 point something amps or 2.6 amps. It was draining even with it plugged into the grid, but I had it on SBU for the battery first. So now I switched it over to the grid first. So now it'll charge my battery back up. It's on constant charge right now. It's charging the battery. And then anything that we plug in, it'll use the grid first. And this will be like a portable generator. And why I need to get this straightened out, and if the grid's not working, then it'll go off the battery. And that's how I need it, because I'm going to be doing some boondocking coming up. And I'm putting this in my van. This is going in my van with me when I go boondocking. And I am going to do some campsites and everything and have the cord where I can plug it in. But when I'm not around there, or when I don't have it to plug in, either way, this has the inverter in it. And I got my outlets here. So I'm going to have a TV with me. I'm going to have just some little LED lights with me, and the TV, the LED lights, a propane burner, and this right here. Oh, my laptop. That's why I'm tapping this also. My laptop and my GoPro charger, my 20-volt chargers too, because I got a nice 20-volt light. But either way, I want to get this dialed in so I can know how much power I got with this battery when I go boondocking, like overnight. And if I'm on a campground, of course I'm going to have it plugged into the grid. But I was pretty shocked if it was just on battery only, plugged into the grid, it drained. So if it's on battery like that only, and then you shut it off, and then you unplug it from the grid, the battery will last longer. So the crazy thing is let me explain that again. If you have this on SBU, it's on utility now where it uses the grid first. If you have it on SBU, it uses solar first. If not solar, then it uses battery, then it uses grid. Okay, so if you have it on that one and it's plugged into the grid will charge the battery. But once the battery is fully charged, the grid will shut off. And even with this off, but plugged into the grid, it will use your battery to keep the lights on and keep this thing moving. You had to completely shut this off where it don't drain your battery. You have to unplug it to the grid and shut it off underneath here. Now, if you leave it on and you unplug it, then you're going to drain your battery. So I want to use this as a portable, as a backup generator is what I want to use this on. So I had to put option number 1 into utility, where it will use the grid first. So it's going to charge the battery, and anything else is going to go off the grid first. But after the battery's charged now, I can shut it off and unplug it from the grid, and the battery will probably last about a week. But believe it or not, hooked up to the Dali BMS, it still balances and everything, and it still uses juice from the battery, but not as much and not as fast. In the long run, it still uses power. Now, if this is completely off, your Bluetooth on your Dali BMS, this is not going to work. You see 6.8 amps right now charging it. If this is off and there's no power running back or either way, the Dali BMS Bluetooth is not going to work. Now, here's why you don't want to disconnect this from the Growatt, and it's all hooked up right here on a dolly to put right in the van just like this, because if you disconnect this from the Growatt, then you're going to have to go through the whole thing of make sure your battery's charged, make sure your Bluetooth is on, your BMS is on before you connect it, because if this does not sense your Bluetooth on, this will not turn on. So once this is connected, the Bluetooth is on, this knows the BMS is on, this knows the BMS is on, then it plugged in, and I can unplug it, turn it on and off and everything, and it's good to go. But if this Bluetooth goes to, if the BMS goes to sleep, this will not find the BMS. So this is charging from the grid right now, constant charge, is charging from the grid to charge the battery. The battery's at 9%, sending 6.9, 7.8 to the grid. The batteries are 0.063 volts apart, and it's balancing them. And then this has all 14 batteries right here. All right, either way, I just wanted to let you know about that. I'm in a DIY forum on Facebook, a battery DIY forum. And somebody just said the exact same thing. They didn't realize how much juice these Growatts use, how much power they use. So one more time really fast. With it plugged into the grid, if this is set on battery and solar first, even if this is off, to light this and to use the fans, it will use your battery. It will drain your battery. You physically have to shut it off and physically have to unplug it from the grid. in order for it to not to use your battery. So now that I have it plugged in, I have it plugged into utility. So I have this plugged in, so it would use the grid first. All this will be operating with the grid, and if this shuts off for emergency, then it would use the battery. So after this battery gets fully charged or whatever, I am gonna shut this off because I just until I'm boondocking, I'm not using this for anything. And you know how much of a electric miser I am. So if this stays like this to the grid, this Growatt will stay on, and this Growatt will still be taking power from my grid just to keep this light on and just to keep the operating system in here working. So all right, any more I find out about this, I will let you know. I do have my flat screen TV that's gonna go on my boondocking with me. So when I plug that in, I am gonna plug that in before I leave out to let you know how long I'll be able to run that for with my laptop off this battery. But when I do hit some campsites or whatever, this has the inverter in it where I could plug into the grid. I have a 30 amp converter. I could run my extension cord, plug my van into the grid, and go off of 120 volt with my laptop and with my TV and everything while it's charging the battery. So when we leave to go somewhere else or whatever, we do have the battery fully charged. All right, either way, just some information about the Growatt and the power consumption it uses. Talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share.